Hey guys, so who knew a pot roast could induce a totally insane experience, which has been happening for me since I think that was Wednesday morning. It is now Friday morning, and the last couple days have been pretty insane mentally for me. And I wanted to make a video about this because right now I'm experiencing the third revelation, or I don't know exactly how to describe it. I've described the other two as spiritual awakenings. This one is the same thing, but it's a little different. The circumstances are different, which is surprising. I'm very thankful that it was a pot roast that induced this also, and not some major painful event, which is what brought about the last two. One 20 years ago and one 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, right before I started this channel. But I wanted to talk about what that was, and I also wanted to talk about how to know if you have had this, which is a trick statement. It's there's no way to not know that you've had it if you've had it. That's the simplest way to put it. A Course in Miracles has some language about this. I'm not a big A Course in Miracles person, but what I read in A Course in Miracles made it very clear to me. It put to words my unexplainable experience, which it also says that the experience of revelation is so personal that, you know, you can't really describe it. But it tries, and I'll try. And basically, what it is a communion with the divine. It's unmistakable. When you get knowledge from something beyond yourself, it is unmistakable. And what it induces is a period of just complete suspension of fear and doubt. It's the most certain feeling, way beyond any feeling of certainty you can generate from, you know, a physical level. It's sorry, struggling to articulate this. It's the difference between thinking something and knowing something. And maybe you can vaguely get a little, you know, snippet of what that might feel like by just thinking about something you know versus thinking about something that you think. You know, if you get up and walk into the bathroom and then walk back to the couch, you know that just happened, at least as much as you can, versus thinking that something works a certain way or thinking that something will happen. It's just a totally different feeling. And that's the closest that I could come to describing what happens after something has been directly communicated from somewhere else. It's like the total suspension of doubt is the big clue. And for me, it's an amazing feeling. It's just being completely free of doubt. It's like this, so much of, at least for me, I'm assuming for everybody, so much of every day is taken up with this sort of primal doubt and fear that you're not even necessarily aware of it. It's just kind of part of the human experience. When that's gone, like when that's largely or completely gone for any period of time, what takes its place is just this unbelievable feeling of bliss. It's like, I don't know, that's not even the right word, because this is just a human attempt to explain it. It's just this feeling of total and complete comfort and safety on some level. So that's, as you can imagine, if you've had that experience, there's no way for you not to. If you have to ask the question, you haven't had it. But so I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about what this revelation was and what it's done. And it was the pot roast was the final nail in the coffin for this. And again, I'm so grateful that it was that little stupid experience and talking about it on this channel that propelled me forward. That morning, that had all literally happened moments before I made that video. I'll link to that video just in case it's not there for some reason or you can't find it. What happened like in the hours after that was just mind-blowing. It was just mind-blowing. So where do I start with this? Okay, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is by talking about some things that I might not normally talk about. So for the last month, I've been super busy with work since the beginning of December. I had intention for my business to grow a lot, and I knew what to do, and I did it, and it did. So I've been super busy. I've been working all the time. I have a lot of control over that, so I don't want to give anybody the impression that, I made myself a slave unwillingly. I can turn down the business that's coming in all the time because I control all the advertising. So by choice, and often, because I really want to, it's been a drag some of the time, but I've been working a lot, 16 hours a day probably, just a ton. I've been at work every day, just kind of reveling in what has happened and just experiencing it and trying to generate as much income as I can. It's just like I'm obsessed with a video game. That's what it feels like. So I've been doing that 16 hours a day, 14 hours a day. So at the end of the day, I come home, I collapse onto the couch, I got a bag of Dove milk chocolate pieces, I just lay there, pop in the chocolate, and I've been watching Long Island Medium. I don't know why. I'm not into that stuff. I'm not into psychics. I'm just not into the occult in a big way. I'm just not. My mind is open because if we're creating everything that's happening here, then it would stand to reason that we've created the occult and everything else, and it's just another way for us to communicate with ourselves or for divine intelligence to communicate with us or whatever. I've never understood the conflict between all the manifestation people and the occult because it's cognitive dissonance, if you ask me. So I look at it as a tool. It's not a tool I'm particularly interested in because I don't see it as something that's super magical. It's just another way for me to talk to myself. So the only time I really have anything to do with occult stuff is if it just kind of presents itself and, or if I feel like I'm having a really hard time coming up with my own answers in my own head the way I normally do, then in the past, I have a tarot deck. I've probably drawn a tarot card for a situation, I don't know, once a year for the last 20 years. And it always means that something bad is going on, because if I can't come up with the answer on my own, using my own thought process and relying on, the answers to be shown to me, that's usually just a good indicator that I'm involved with something that I shouldn't be involved in. So it's if the tarot deck's out, I already kind of know the answer, that I shouldn't need to be using a tarot deck. So anyway, all of that to say, all of that to support that I am not an occult person. So why I ended up getting really into this Long Island Medium show, I don't know. I don't think that she's a hack. I don't know though. I mean, the whole show could be scripted. Matt, every time Matt walked into the living room for the last 2 months, he has made fun of me for watching it. Thank you so much. I've been watching what she does, and throughout the seasons that I've watched maybe 4 seasons, she talks about this gift that she has. And as you watch her doing this thing where she basically, as the show develops, it becomes clear that, she has a specific purpose for what she does. And the purpose is, and she elucidates this later, she articulates this clearly later, that she does what she does in order to release other people's burdens. So a lot of what she does when she's these spirits are supposedly coming through her to other people, is a lot of the times she says the same thing, gets really repetitive. One of her big things is, your mother wants you to know there was nothing more you could have done. She knows you're carrying around this burden, and she wants you to drop it. There was nothing you could have done. She was supposed to die when she did. You weren't supposed to be there. You weren't supposed to catch the tumor. That's the message, half the time. She's there to provide this service as a medium. It's not her telling them this, supposedly. It's this message coming through her to certain people at a certain time. Maybe you can see where I'm going with this. And that's the function. And the rest of the time, she's just this, Jersey, loud Italian woman. It's not her. It's like something coming through her. And she doesn't question it anymore, I guess. She talked a lot about how when she first started doing it, it was, weird. And until she was older and found like a mentor, she didn't really know what was going on, and she didn't know what she was supposed to do with it and all this stuff. And so as I'm watching this, over the last few months, first of all, I realized that I'm carrying a burden like that she talks about. I go over and over my father's death. So I'm sure that's one of the reasons that I was attracted to it initially, is these feelings about like, could I have done more? Could I have caught stuff with my dad? That's, I think, how I got attracted to the show. But lately, as she's been talking about this, the way that she's a conduit, I've been just sort of absorbing that. And all of a sudden, literally, after the pot roast thing, I just realized, I've been acting under compulsion with this YouTube channel since day one. It's been very, very uncomfortable for me because every part of my life is flying under the radar. My face isn't out there talking about anything that I do. A lot of the time I don't know why I feel compelled to drop what I'm doing and go, I will have the urge to go talk about something on a video, and it is just this magnetic, compelling force, like in my gut, where I'm just like, I really want to go talk about something right now. And I've just been like, what is this? What is this? It's been driving me crazy. It's been very uncomfortable. If you've been around since the beginning, I've taken long absences from doing anything here. After my dad died, I didn't make any videos consistently for like 15 months. And then at the end of last year, I was just kind of like, screw it. I don't know why I'm doing this, and I feel like it's had kind of a negative impact on me, so I'm just gonna stop. And it's been weird. Nothing like this was happening before. I did have a blog when I was younger, when I was like 24 years ago, 25 years ago. I did have a similar experience with needing to get things out onto paper where other people could read it. It was very similar. So maybe that was like practice. I did have kind of a big following on my blog back in the day, back in like 1999, 2000. But so it's just like, I don't know. I just suddenly understood. So I'm like making this video about acting under compulsion, and it just all the dots started connecting really rapidly, that I'm essentially doing a similar thing. I'm not a medium, obviously, for dead people. I don't know if I'm psychic or not, but that's what this is. Something is using me as a puppet, essentially. It's using me, my personality, the way I present myself, literally right now as I'm talking. It's using my life experience to convey a message to somebody. Like, if you're watching this, you're watching it under compulsion. I don't know why you're here. I don't know why I'm here right now. But it was very clearly revealed to me quickly that I don't need to know why. I don't need to worry about any of this. I felt a huge sense of responsibility. Like, I've said all these things here and there, like that I'm saying right now. They've all been like, there's just been a little like, it's like all the pieces have been there, but finally it all came together. I don't need to worry about what I'm saying. I don't need to worry about the way I'm saying it exactly. I don't need to worry about what people think of this. Like, that's a big one. That's been a big thing about this that's been annoying, is, worrying that like I'm saying something irresponsibly or like I should, like, only ascended masters should talk about this stuff. That's been a big, I'm like, yeah, well, like, but I don't want to make a video right now because I'm not in a good place mentally. Like, I feel like I want to talk about something, but I just don't think I should, because who am I to talk about this stuff? you know, and there have been others out there who have, you know, helpfully echoed those thoughts back to me. I've been accused of being a fame whore by people who are clearly in it for fame or want fame. You know, that could not be further from the truth. That's been a huge, huge, huge impediment. Just like with my business, with this, I've been like, look, it's big enough, you know, bigger than this might be inviting some problems, you know, being more well-known than this. I'm no longer under the radar. You know, that's why my channel just like is where it is. It's kind of hovering where it is. And, you know, if I wanted this channel to have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, I'm confident I could have easily manifested that by now after 3 years, given the response to it from day one. Anyway, it was just revealed to me that this is not about me. It's not about me at all, actually. I'm an intermediary. If you are compelled to watch a video on this channel or compelled to subscribe to my channel and watch a lot of it, or you feel compelled to binge watch it, I would go with that. I would go with it because I'm compelled to make this, and every single moment of your life leading up to the point that you're watching me say these words has led you here right now under compulsion. What I'm saying is for somebody. It's probably for you. Why else would you be here? There's something here for you. And my only job is just to be here and say the things I feel compelled to say. That takes a lot for me. That takes a lot of self-confidence that honestly I don't walk around having, you know? I don't know. It's borderline. I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Like, to me, this has just always been, for somebody who lives kind of a private, quiet life, this has always felt a little ostentatious to me. But it was very clearly revealed to me that that's not my business, and that's not something that I am to worry about. In fact, worrying about that interferes with me being used to convey this message. What I get out of this from this, I'm not sure, but I have the sense that it's something good. What I've felt since understanding this has just been total bliss. It's been such a relief. It's like a huge burden was lifted off of me. You know, in my relationship with my fiance, I've always felt like he kind of secretly thinks this is really dumb. He tells me he doesn't, but I just kind of feel like he does. And so I felt really self-conscious about it from that standpoint, even though we met through this channel. And this has completely removed all of those feelings. I don't care at all if he thinks this is dumb anymore, which is a huge relief. I can't even tell you, like, that was really bothering me. Because I know that I am supposed to be doing this, I know that I'm supposed to be doing, I know that that's what this was. That's what this all has been for the last 3 years. Every single time I sat here and said something, I was fulfilling something I'm supposed to be doing. And that's why there's this feeling of compulsion. And the only thing standing in the way of me getting the benefit from that, which is this feeling of connectedness and bliss, and like I'm in the right place at the right time doing the right thing, which is so fulfilling. Oh my God. The only thing standing in the way of that was me and my ego saying, should you be doing this? Is this really responsible? Why are you even associating yourself with anything having to do with the absolute insanity of this manifestation community, which is off the rails? It's off the rails. It has gone full on into nuts territory. But, you know, I guess if you find yourself watching one of those videos, you are meant to get something from it. But it is nuts. It's nuts. Those thoughts have been the thing standing in my way. Those just like feeling like I don't want to be, feeling like I matter, feeling like, you know, my association with something that, like, none of it matters. Like, my own personal human ego self is irrelevant here. And that is totally clear to me now, in a way that I know, and once you know, you know. You can't go back from knowing. So all of that to say, that this channel will continue to be made. And if you find yourself here, I would pay attention, because there's something for you. That's the whole purpose of what I'm doing here. I've never done it for money. Nothing's monetized. I have no intention of ever making any money. I don't have any intention of doing anything as an offshoot of this that might make money. Like, even the only thing I could think of is like, oh, well, if I wrote a book, that would probably make money. But I don't have any plans to do that. I don't need the money. I'm busy in my life making a ton of money. I just don't need that. None of this has ever, I can see why people were like, oh, she's just an attention seeker. Oh, she's an attention whore. She's a fame whore. She's a fraud. She's actually going to start, monetize this. I can see people projecting their own ideas about why they would be doing it. I have been called, like, the projection that's been projected onto me by people is so cringy. It's like, don't you understand that when you accuse somebody of something and they know that that's not their motivation, they know that that's your motivation? Like, it's so obvious. It's so cringy, Somebody on Reddit told me that I could be I didn't need to be jealous of them because of their fame. I could be famous myself if I wanted. I'm just like, dude, I get now why you are making your YouTube channel. It's for fame. That's pretty obvious. It's the same thing. It's like, you always see this when people accuse you of something directly, when they don't know you and they don't know anything about you. It's always a projection. So I don't know, that stood in my way. It won't anymore. It won't anymore, because I know this isn't about me. I'm literally Matt's really been enjoying me calling myself the special chosen one for the last couple days as a joke, and calling myself a medium. That's really riling him up when I call myself a medium, because obviously I'm not. At least if I am, I don't know it yet. But I am definitely an intermediary for something. So, whatever the thing is, it's talking through me to you. And I'm pretty good at getting out of the way of that during these videos. It's really just me getting out of the way of allowing that to happen, for my, in terms of my own experience, just because I haven't liked this. I haven't liked this feeling. This has been a really unpleasant experience for me for the last few years. Anyway, I'm just going to stop it there because I'm rambling. But, yeah, as crazy as this sounds, all of the stuff I'm talking about was essentially a revelation, just an instant knowing, or a semi-instant knowing. Oh, and this was the other thing that happened. This other little incident happened that sort of cemented the whole thing for me. I was thinking about acting under compulsion and how that's what I've been doing, and how that's what everybody is doing, and that's how this whole thing works. Essentially, that's how this whole thing is being glued together, everyone acting under compulsion. And I went onto Reddit after I posted the pot roast video. I went onto Reddit. I felt compelled to post this chapter from Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I said, okay, I feel compelled to post this. I'm not going to question it. I don't know how this relates to anything I've done today, but I'm going to just post this on my subreddit because I feel compelled to do it. So it had some formatting issues. I had a PDF that I found online and copied it out of, and I had some formatting issues. And so I was trying to post it in old Reddit, the old version of the website, which is what I use when I go on there. But it wasn't really working. So I switched over to the new version of Reddit, which has better editing options in the posts. And I had notifications for my mod mail on my subreddit, which I don't see because it only shows up on new Reddit. And I had 2 messages there that I haven't seen. One from 5 months ago and one from 10 days ago. And they were both talking about the same thing. They both, I think, at least one of them specifically said, you were talking in your videos about how you feel compelled to make your videos and you don't know why, and you assume that you're helping somebody with it. I just wanted to verify for you that, that couldn't be more true. And this person went on to say, I was literally at the end of my rope. I was suicidal. And your channel stopped me from being in that state of mind. This is like minutes after I make this video about acting under compulsion. There's that, and then there was another one that said, you know, I'm in my early 20s, and you were talking about how you wish that you could tell your early 20s self a lot of stuff you're saying on this channel. And I'm paraphrasing heavily because I only read these messages once. But this person basically said, you know, I'm that person and I'm getting that information. And I was in a horribly low place, and now I'm not. So immediately I get these two messages that have been sitting there for, you know, 2 weeks and 5 months, just waiting for me to find them at this exact moment. It's pretty crazy. Time obviously is not linear. So anyway, that's the end of my spiel. And normally I would absolutely cringe at posting this, as I've cringed every other time I've made a video like this, just kind of like talking. I would cringe at it. I'm not cringing at it anymore because I know without a shadow of a doubt there was something important in here for somebody today, and that's why I'm doing this, and that will continue. So there you go. Whoever needed to get something from it is getting it. Have a great day.